We have assembled the Sunday Roundtable this morning, and joining us at this hour, Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh and Republican political analyst Virginia Buckingham. Great to have you with us, guys. You know, every time I call her Virginia, I think I'm Virginia.
Yes, Virginia.
Yes, Virginia. Julian Cyr just sat in the chair. Are we looking at a future candidate for Congress? What do you think, Marianne?
Well, he definitely kept all his options open, didn't he? And
yeah.
he made it pretty compelling. I'll look at it. I'm young. I'm 35. Where can I serve best? And he did a great job today. And he's a real up-and-coming legislator in Beacon Hill, really coming into his own. So he's got all the options in the world, and that might be one of them.
Ginny.
I have to agree. You know, there's so much cynicism about politics, and then you meet someone like him who's sincere and really wants to do good for the people in his district. So good for him.
He's so sincere, it's in his last name, too. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One.
All right, let's talk about the tea. Charlie Baker says the tea is safe. He said it repeatedly the other day. That is not a view, however, shared by riders who saw a red line train derail and a major escalator malfunction in recent days. Now, after 7 years in office, does the governor own this now, Ginny?
Well, of course he does. I mean, his play is that he's a good manager, so he has to manage tough situations like this. What this does say, though, is free the tea is not going to fly, because one thing you have to have is money to invest to make it safer. Sure, it's safe. It needs to be safer.
And Marianne, he says that he has invested historic amounts of money, more than any other administration.
Then it wasn't well spent, was it? I mean, there have been 8 derailments in 24 months. That's a derailment every 3 months. That's not safe. Look at what happened at Back Bay Station in the escalator the other day. That poor family from Louisiana. Horrible. You had the accident where now the driver is about to be fired, where dozens of people were injured on the Green Line. We can go on and on and on. And the new oversight committee that's supposed to manage the T doesn't have a full complement of people on the board. And who's behind on appointing them? Charlie Baker, who has to appoint 5 of them and hasn't done it yet. So yes, it could be better. It should be better. There's plenty of money between what they've put in, how they've spent it. You have to question all the federal money coming in. Money's not the excuse.
Which leads us perfectly to the next question, and take a look at this tape here. Is Baker running for re-election? And we ask that all the time. And here's how I'm going to frame the question. Does he want another pink boat in front of his house, which happened when climate change protesters showed up at the Swampscott the other day? Does he want needles dumped in front of his house? Does he want someone to walk into his own private home with his family inside? Ginny, what's he likely to do?
He's likely to run, in my opinion. I don't have any inside info, because what does he want to do? Fix the T. He wants to fix the veterans' homes. That's his MO, and that's his juju, is to get in there and fight and fix things. And if I had to guess, he will run. By the way, you can't beat somebody with nobody. He doesn't have a strong opponent. So the T issue is tough, but it's not going to beat him.
I was just going to say, maybe the T issue was his opponent, Or
COVID, or a bunch of other things. But look, Charlie Baker's making all the moves you would make if you're going to run for a third term. He's out raising money. He's starting to do more events. Does he want any of the bother? No. But the fact is, he's doing all the things for a third term. And you hear that he feels like COVID took his second term away. Just at a time when he was really getting into the job, he knew how to do it. He enjoyed it. He wants it. So he wants a third term to really make up for the second term. I think the bigger question is Maura Healey going to run?
Yeah.
There's less insight there. And she would be a true challenge to Charlie Baker if she chose to run, but we don't know that yet.
Why is he waiting as long as he's waiting? To keep her out? Is that a strategy?
Because he can.
Right.
There's no reason for him to announce yet.
Right, and the longer the campaign, the more people treat you like a candidate, the more scrutiny there is, the harder it is. So he can wait as long as he wants.
And again, it's a year from now, so the calendar doesn't require an immediate acceleration at this moment.
By the end of the year.
By the end of the calendar year.
But they're doing all the things behind the scenes
Right.
that you need now.
What do you say? If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. I understand
quacking.
what you're saying. Yeah.
All right, let's talk endorsements in the Boston mayoral
I didn't call
race.
the governor a duck, by the way.
Let's clarify that. Ayanna Pressley is getting behind Michelle Wu in the campaign. Before that, acting Mayor Kim Janey endorsed Wu rather than Anissa Essabi George. With the Black and brown community a key factor in this race, how significant is this, Marianne?
Of the one endorsement you want in the Boston mayoral race, the one you want is Ayanna Pressley, and Michelle Wu landed it. It is a big, big endorsement because basically black voters could determine this race. They did not vote in the numbers they should have and we expected in the primary. Many of them are saying they're not going to turn out now. That's going to make this a very, very close race. Ayanna Pressley can not only get black voters out for Michelle Wu, she's going to make the argument she wants a partner in City Hall to help her with the agenda she's pushing for in Washington, D.C. Huge endorsement.
Ginny?
I think it's big, but will it matter is the question. And I think that all comes down to turnout. As Mary Ann says, will this compel voters to come to the polls? Maybe, maybe not. And also, in a weird way, it kind of underscores Anissa Sabi-George's point that Michelle Wu is kind of out of step with what the city of Boston needs. Ayanna Pressley is one of the leading progressives, right, in our country. Is that what we want in the city of Boston? That's really going to come down to the argument that Anissa is making.
She's got the operation to help with the turnout. I mean, look she crushed Mike Capuano, outspent 10-1, didn't even have a TV ad, and she's only gotten stronger and stronger. So yes, ultimately the candidate has to make the argument, but you cannot underestimate how big a deal it is Ayanna did this.
But that was her vote for herself, a black candidate, not for Michelle Wu, and I'm not sure it translates. We'll see.
Next item is Rachel Rollins. She is still not the U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts, and uncertain is the word we're going to use. It's incomplete at the very least. Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton leading the Republican opposition. Will Chuck Schumer bring this to the full Senate for a vote? And what else is Cotton looking for here, Marianne?
Well, as we discussed last week, Tom Cotton's trying to score cheap political points for his presidential bid by going after a woman of color in the Boston media market that just conveniently happens to telegraph into New Hampshire. That's all this is about. And now he's trying to play the culture war even further. So he claims that Rachel Rollins is, soft on crime and all those things. Meanwhile, I will be shocked if any Republican votes for her. I do think it's going to take Kamala Harris to come in and break that tie. But when you look at the lawlessness of Republicans in Washington who supported the insurrection, voted not to certify the election, Rachel Rollins is much tougher on crime than a whole bunch of people who are going to vote against her.
Is it about Tom Cotton or is it about Rachel Rollins?
A little known political fact, Tom Cotton was my intern on the campaign that we both worked on in 1996, Weld versus Kerry. Isn't that amazing?
Yes. Wow.
That explains everything.
Wow.
Look, it's good politics. She's seen as soft on crime. This is about the midterms as much as his presidential run. It's just good politics.